Keto.
We're good, Joe. I'll let you
Beautiful.
lead it off.
Keto.
Awesome. Welcome. This is not really official or anything. Welcome, Kimberly. I wanted
Thank
to
you,
bring
thank
my
you.
man Terry on, who's expert and host shares a lot of breaking information with Jason and Jake and all the leaders with Lemon and Debtbox, and has been involved probably as long as I have, right, Terry? Like 2 years till this
Been
month.
involved for quite a while, but most importantly, really plugged in.
Yeah, the
Okay.
big plug. We've hung out a couple times down at his house in Sarasota and have some very interesting conversations and strategy sessions. But a lot has gone on in the last 9-10 months since the SEC filed against Debtbox. So I wanted to do this just to catch everybody up. What's happening, George? Welcome. George's aware of this, but we had to make a long story short. The SEC sued us. We beat it. During that 9-10 months, there was a divide in what the group that was called the Debt Council before. It was basically two pairs of gentlemen that decided to go different ways. Same strategy, go different ways, same family, still lots of love for each other and want success for each other, but one's taking a centralized direction, the other is taking a decentralized path. And right now we're just getting ready to launch the Lemon everything Lemon, from our own new token, our own L1 blockchain, many Lemon associated L2 projects, and many partners. And the L1's going to have literally a ton of other projects come and be hosted on our chain because the technology is out of this world, something that's never been done before, which we're not going to get deep into today. Maybe Terry can touch on it, real quick summary or something. But this is the partner, the two gentlemen, Jake and Jason Anderson, are two of the Debt Council. They took the technology. They're the ones. They are Debt, which is decentralized, eco-friendly blockchain technology company that created the technology. So, and then the other two are Shad and Roy. They're more the commodity guys. So they're each taking the technology, doing their own twist with it. Everything Lemon is about tokenizing literally assets, everything, businesses, hotels, whatever you can think of, from movies. I can't even get into the list that we have right now. There's so many different things. There's Roy and Shad are more the commodities with the technology that scans under the earth and taking that side. We're all still holders of those projects. We're also holders of Bev, Rev, Blocks, and shit. Can't think of the other one right now. What's the fourth one?
Drip.
And those are switching over to the Lemon blockchain once that gets up and running. So they're separating, but we're still, instead of having one path to success, we're looking for both projects, both chains to be successful. And right now, the main thing I want to talk about is everything Lemon. We are actually launching with the Lemon NFTs this Thursday. So I wanted to get together, and especially with you, Kimberly, I know you aren't able to keep up a lot with everything. So I wanted to explain what the deal is. With Lemon, it's a freemium model, similar to Facebook and the social media. Both sides have huge partnerships lined up. But you know how we were paying thousands of dollars for NFTs prior? Now we're paying zero. All we have to do is pay a $25 minting fee, and the NFT is yours. It's earning.
Not only
the important
that.
Thing,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I thought you were taking a break. No, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was getting it. Just going to say the important thing that we've learned over the last couple of years, and Kimberly, you saw this, is the earlier you can get in on a project, the more tokens there are mined that can grow in value, and that's where you're really going to make the difference. The biggest thing I want to push with everybody is, obviously every project's not going to be for you, because after we launch the the Lemon NFTs this week, then we're going to be launching Lemflix, which is a competition for Netflix globally, the following week. Then we're doing LemPay, which is going to replace Cash App and all kinds of different features that are like banking features where you can pay bills, so many different things, powerful platforms, and then Lem Lotto, which is a blockchain global lottery. And what's the number? Just the lottery today, the way it's done, what is that? A $300 billion industry?
It's over 300 billion. Yeah, which is amazing.
Imagine you could throw a little Lem token, or Lem seed, I don't know, put $1 in it, and the millions, the jackpots they're looking at on that are going to be million up to 10 million as we grow. So each one of these projects is going to be, for the next few Thursdays, we're launching the NFTs to where you can get it on day one. You can get a free NFT and mint one for $25. So ideally, you at least want to get one on every project from the very beginning. Personally, I'm going to be getting one a day, which is the limit. You can get one per day per wallet for as long as you have powder. You know, if you want to end up with 5, 10, 20 of them. I mean, when we got involved with Deadbox, a couple of years ago, that I was envious of people that could spend and get 20 on one project or 50, whatever. But with $25 minting fee for each one, as early as we can get, that's going to put us in a really good position. So that's why I wanted to get you guys together, just to get the right mindset and strategy so that you can make the most out of this opportunity. Because even if you don't have money, and shit, you spend $25 at Wawa. I spent $50 last week out to dinner just by myself with freaking, what was it? I had smoked pork on mac and cheese and 2 beers. It was $28. That's nothing. And there's no excuse why anybody can't come up with $25, at least one a week or something, So what do you want to add to that, Terry? How to do it?
Yeah, I think the other important thing that people need to understand is, like you touched on, that the earliest days are when the most value is created. And one of the things they're allowing us to do is take our old NFTs, some of whom we've already mined out most of the juice, and swap them over at no cost of any kind, as in $0, no hidden costs, no nothing. I think the gas fees might cost 18 cents. So for 18 cents, you could take an old,
aluminum like you have,
and move it over. And I think that there are three projects in particular on the validators that we should really hone in on, because I think if you get a handful of things right in the early days, it might still set you free. And I know that sounds like hyperbole and it sounds like an astounding claim, but you have to realize that we're not being compensated based on the amount that we put in. It's not what it's designed for. But the small amount in the early days can give you so much leverage. It might set you free. And I think that's the thing to focus on. So one is you want some of the utility tokens. So what used to be Detcoin is now going to be LemX. So you're going to want that. You're going to want to focus on getting a little bit of that. Now, and we'll take questions after. So let me give you the overview. And then I think there's 3 projects that they're launching in the early days, probably in the first 6 that come out. And I think 3 of them are going to take a lot of my attention, which is Lem Lotto, Lem Pay, and CatFizz. And if we get those right, like I can tell you this in private, but the goals for CatFizz are $1 billion a month in royalties. And that's the
what are you saying that project name is?
Cat
what did you say that?
CatFizz. Like
what
Pussycat Fizz.
Yeah.
FIZ. I don't know much about it, so hopefully Terry can give us a minute or two on
So let me give you a couple minutes on that. So CatFizz is a platform. So have you guys ever heard of WeChat before, like in China?
Right.
In China, they've got an app called WeChat, and it's kind of become like the everything app, so to speak, because not only is it kind of like their social media platform, but they also use it for banking and transacting and commerce. It's kind of like Cash App built into social media. And so what CatFizz has done, and they started testing in Indonesia, they've got an app. They've already got $100 million sunk into building out the app. And George get 2 accounts. George, you want the other one on there?
He's trying. Yeah, he said you and I were a little choppy.
Okay,
so switching over to his phone.
I gotcha. So they built this CatFizz app, and they've done 2 versions. They've got 100 million into it, and on the 3rd version, they are basically, the plan is to take over TikTok. They really want to beat out TikTok. They've got a massive network of influencers. They're in control of like almost all the Asian and Middle Eastern influencers somehow. they've got them all collaborating in one network. They do about 20 billion views a month. And so if what they're going to do then is they're going to pay the influencers so much more money on this platform than they can make on any other. So then the influencers are all going to collectively create this massive buzz to drag everyone over. And then built into that is LemPay. And LemPay is the replacement for PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, your bank, and all crypto exchanges. You can do bill payments from it. You can get leverage against your assets on it. You can get a credit card tied to it. You can do all the fiat on and off ramps. There isn't anything a bank or a crypto exchange could ever possibly do for you, or a Cash App or a Venmo or a PayPal could ever do for you that LemPay won't do. It covers the bases on all of them. It's like the ultimate finance app. And the reason we want to be excited about that is because they're going to drive billions of dollars of volume through that LemPay. And so we're going to get these little, micro hits of transaction fees, the same way Visa or MasterCard is, but they're aiming to exceed the volume of transactions than Visa and MasterCard. And so LemPay could turn into something very, very lucrative. And you can get a huge bag of tokens, $25 in the beginning. That's hard to beat. Or even better, you could swap one of your old NFTs over and get that. And then so the CatFizz is one of the retail platforms to drive volume through LemPay. But if they succeed, there's an if there. It's not easy to build a new social media platform, but they've got all that massive influencer network. If they succeed in doing that, like I said, they're planning to do $1 billion a month in royalties into these tokens with CatFizz. And then the third one is LemLotto, because the lottery business globally is 300 million, and it's so lucrative, and it's such low-hanging fruit that a percentage of every dollar that goes in will kick back to people, and they don't need to wait a month for jackpots. They could do 1 a week, 2, 3 a week. And they're going to use all kinds of promotional tools to promote other projects on the Lemon platform. But then also, they're also going to advertise for LemLotto on LemFlix. Like, they're going to do a lot of this cross-promotional stuff. And a lot of people look at it and say, what's $1 or $2, here and there on these lottery type approaches, when they know they could make $10 million, win a yellow lemon Ferrari this week, win whatever. And they think they can do really big volume on that. And I think it's huge. I think the potential is unlimited. The cost is almost zero, and it's all profit margins. And they're going to really gamify it. Unlike traditional lottery, it's going to be, amplified in terms of gaming. So I think that if you collect a lot of tokens on those and just hold for a little while, because the token distribution schedule is hyper aggressive, not like the old ones, so much faster. The old ones were like 3, 5, 10 years. These ones are like, 6, 12 months, 18 months, and there won't be any tokens left before then. So exciting stuff. So I'll stop there. You guys hit me with the questions, and I'll try and guide you as I can.
Well, Kimberly, I know I think you have 2 aluminum NFTs.
Yeah, I think it's 2 aluminum and then a couple others.
Bev, Rev, Drip, and Blocks, the ones that are moving over to the Lemon blockchain, you can't swap them, but the other ones you can. So the aluminums, I'm pretty sure you have 2 aluminum. You can swap them beginning next week with the first LemFlix, or you can wait till the following week for LemPay. But these are the key ones that we want to get set up, and whatever is possible, whether it's 1, 3, 8, 20 on each project, we want to do that now for the proper setup. That's, again, the whole key of why I wanted to get together. And we're going to have to, when the actual utility token LemX is released, we want to be set up. That's being released tomorrow?
Well, I mean, token distributions will start tomorrow.
Right. I mean, when we can go buy them.
Soon.
Jason said, you
probably
want to be. You're breaking up on that. Probably within. That's what all I heard.
Sorry, probably within the week.
Right. Like I was getting set up. Jason said the quickest, best way is this morning. He mentioned the MetaMask is going to be the fastest way to get it, which I haven't used MetaMask for a long time. So I went in this morning, needed an update. We want to have our funds in there because a millisecond is going to matter. Once they go live, if any of you guys hear that the token's available, I hear it first. We know exactly when, because he's not really going to put it out as a lead to keep the bots out. So
Right.
whoever hears it first, immediately just type go in our group chat, and that just means go. So I had to do an update on MetaMask. You don't want to run into that kind of shit. I've been involved in launches before that, something went up. I forget what it started at, but as much as I put in it, it just skyrocketed. It was like a rocket going up. And before things settled down, like my wallet went from whatever I started with, probably no more than, it was probably somewhere between $500 and $2,000, and it shot up to like $17,000. I was like, holy shit, blah, blah, blah. But and of course, expect this. So everybody has to have a plan when you get into these launches. It's going to go like that, and then
Yes,
some
ma'am.
people are going to take profits. So expect the dip. It's not going to stay up there wherever it reaches.
It
People
might.
are going to take a little profit. The way this is going, it may, and it may keep on going, but just there's going to be an initial surge. I don't know how long that'll take because there's so many people around the world that are going to be going to get it. But you want to be ready because just from now to now could be the difference between getting LEM tokens for $15 a piece or $35 a piece,
Right.
and that's a huge difference.
It could go from 10 to 100, on the same
Oh,
day.
yeah.
That's also a possibility that everyone's discussing, that's in
Yeah.
the know.
Oh yeah,
It could go to 1,000, really quick. So, you get a 10x or 100x or 20x. I don't know how it'll play out. No one knows a crystal ball, but there'll be a lot of money to be made for the early adopters there. So,
yeah. If I get a 10x, I'm going to take a little profit. Why not?
Right.
But you definitely want to. It's going to be the token for everything. Like we need BNB for gas and everything. So it's something you want as much as you can, as early as you can. Like last year, I had to go. I wanted to get to 1,000 debt tokens summer under $5. Didn't make it. I got there finally over the year, but it cost me a lot more money.
Oh, I do have a question about the when we're able to swap the other OG NFTs in the next couple days. Is it only going to be for LemFlix, or is it also going to be available to swap for the LemX?
L2s for L2s, L1s for L1s only.
Okay.
So debt for Lemon, LemX, and any other thing can go for L2 projects, LemPay, LemLotto, whatever you want. But keep in mind too that swappability with the L2 is more than likely not. It's not going to last forever because there's partners that put a shit ton of money into it to help get that liquidity up. So you're probably only going to have the month of July to do those swaps.
Correct.
Right.
And then we're going to make so much over here, and you'll be able to go back and buy more Loom tokens that you would have minted because they're down right now anyway. But I'll be truthful with you guys. I should have kept out of the freaking debt game. I cashed it in when I had $6,400 in it, and that little glitch up, and I started getting nervous. I bought back in, and the frick kept going down, down, down. I cashed out of my debt. I have it sitting on the sidelines waiting for Lemon. I'm buying as much Lemon as I can, and I can buy debt back later.
Yes, that's the plan, right? 100%.
I left all the other project tokens. I left all alone, but that I want to hit Lemon as big as I can, as fast as I can.
That's the right strategy, 100%.
I even bought a just to get an extra few days of mining. I went yesterday and I bought a debt full license that I'm going to swap over tomorrow. Right now it's earning debt. So when that eventually gets life back into it, because those guys are going to be successful too. It's just going to take a lot longer.
Yeah.
Those commodity projects, I don't think are going anywhere. And they got some big partners over there too. And we want to be successful on both platforms. So I'll get more of that later. I forgot where I was going with that. So
Kim, do you have questions so far?
Are you confused yet, Kimberly?
No, not really. But once I get into what I need to do, I'll be calling you, Joe.
Oh, I know, but I'm working during the day these days to pump as much as I can into it.
No, it's going to be made simple. Don't worry about the mechanics. It'll be easy. It's just about staying plugged in close to the campfire so you don't miss out on that early window. That's all.
Right. No, I get that part.
The initial strategy.
Like if you look at the distribution schedule in these tokens, by the fourth quarter of their existence, it's already 93 or 94% of all the tokens that will ever be distributed are already out.
Yeah.
So like it
Right.
cuts in half every 90 days. So the difference between getting in on day one and even waiting a week is a big difference. And then because the tokens are already out so fast, and because there's so many other tokenomic factors like matching burns and stuff, like we ran out of almost, in all practical terms, we ran out of all Rev tokens within about 6 months of its existence. So this is even more aggressive than Rev.
And
Like
that
right
was
now,
through the whole
as money hits
SEC
Rev,
thing.
there's no Rev tokens left. There's none. As soon as money hits Rev, you're going to see massive price action.
Yeah. So Rev NFTs, swap them, swap them, for damn sure. And Terry, what other ones do you think? I looked at Enzy's chart. Anything over 60-70% distributed, you might as well just freaking swap, is what I'm thinking.
Move any and all NFTs that you can, is my advice. Honestly, I wouldn't hold any of them. If you hold anything back, maybe one per project, like that is the maximum. But even that's hard to justify right now, because if you can get in on Lem Lotto, Lem Pay, Catfish, a few of these other big ones on day one.
At the beginning, yeah.
Those things alone, it's crazy that one project that you only have $25 in for might set you free. I know that sounds obscene and crazy, and I sound like the lunatic, but I've done the math, and I talk to J&J all the time. It's actually a real possibility. I can't guarantee that it will, but it's a definite possibility. And like Joe said, now all of a sudden, if you're picking up 10 of each, right in the early days, and you'll be astounded as to where you're sitting a year from now with those, So
Kimberly, you say you have no money, skip a dinner out or skip a bottle of wine a week and get yourself another freaking NFT.
So so Joe, you said, about working during the day and not being available. So as far as swapping the NFTs, is that as simple as like swapping? Wait. Is that as simple as swapping like the debt for B&B and back and forth? Because that I have no problem with.
Easier.
It's going to be even simpler. And they're going to have videos for everything.
Okay.
The plan is the new Lemon Tree app is like, when I say it's done, it is done for all of its functional features. What they've changed recently is they needed to add a few new functions and features to make it compatible for the L1 that's gearing up in about 6 weeks. And so that's why they've paused the release of it. But just like the old debt app in the Lemon Tree app, there's going to be a button where you're just going to click to swap, like swap aluminum. And, you'll swap it. It'll all happen for you really easy, and you'll just move right over.
Kimberly, you'll be happy to hear this. Remember the first app that was so easy?
Yeah.
First debt app? That's coming back. That's the framework that the app's coming back on.
Okay.
It's improved with the same simple processes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
George, you got questions?
Yeah, I got a couple. I forgot one of them, but I know Jason was talking about the MetaMask and Trust being the fastest. I have SafePal. He was just saying there's more security with the SafePal.
I wouldn't read into that much. It's just, if you want to be safe, you just mirror your wallet in a few different apps. If one is buggering up and giving you a problem, then you just switch. But SafePal should work for everything. And we should have the Lemon Tree app for 99 or more % of this journey, right? It's an any day thing that it's going to come out. So I wouldn't read too much into that. It's just that what's happening is SafePal is a better wallet in some regards, but it's the Wallet Connect feature itself on SafePal that seems to be glitchier than on the other ones. But the other ones are lesser of an app for certain things. So it's everything.
I had issues with Trust, like back in the debt days of like trying to swap stuff and having it connect via my phone and everything. I found out that SafePal was just an easy. I could do everything from my phone. Go on to the
Wasn't
V2.
that like a month or two after I told you to get SafePal? You just insisted on doing Trust. I said, I can't help you.
Yeah, Joe, you don't have to rub it in or anything. But because this whole crypto thing was new to me back when you got me into it, so figuring it all out. I'm not the biggest tech guy, so
George,
but
I'm
it's
not
okay.
either.
Every
There's
single time
always
I get in
somebody
there,
ahead of you, and you got to take what they say from their experience. That's why I look to Terry.
right.
It's all like they say, shit flows downhill.
Yep. I did remember my other question. So when mining starts tomorrow, does that also mean tomorrow is the day you can start buying LEM token?
He's really going to be tight-lipped about it. He
Right.
I'm pretty good friends with them. I can't get them to tell me when, but it's
Okay.
just picture on or around. You're not going to get like
Right.
a lot of notice, but it'll be an on or around. Here's the thing. I
So
know
far, he said between the 11th and 15th. But
they need it out. They need
Right.
it out really fast. The ecosystem is on complete hold and stall out until it comes out. So don't expect them to wait a long time for it. They're not going to, but they're also just not going to tell you when exactly.
Right.
So,
I do have another question that just popped into mind. The Aldo's Micro group. I was just thinking if any of those full debt NFTs that each pool is going to create. What if one of those ends up being one of the lucky lemons? Then what happens?
then we split it.
Oh, okay.
if there's 100 people, then everybody gets a whole one.
Right.
If it's 100x.
If there's 10 people in the pool and you hit the 100x, then everyone's going to get 10 of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't think that was brought up at all or thought of maybe, but
Yeah,
that would be
Kimberly, that's
cool.
a bonus we didn't say.
Yeah.
Some of these, Kimberly, have multipliers on them. You don't know until you mint. There's some bonuses in there that'll actually give you 5, 10, 25, 50, and 100 NFTs for that one mint fee
okay.
randomly.
But at the same time, that's only for LemX NFTs, correct?
No, it'll be on all of them. They'll gamifying the entire ecosystem from A to Z. So just imagine this, like maybe you don't get one on your first 50 mints, right? But on number 6, you do. And
right.
Let's say you hit it on one of the big projects and you get 100 of those NFTs. For $25, you bought your freedom.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's just crazy to
Hey,
think
even
about.
at 5 or 10, I'll take them. I'm not greedy.
Oh,
I'll take them. I'm for that.
10 for $25. I mean,
right.
Amazing.
Do you have any insight on timing for Catfish? I know he didn't put anything out publicly.
Yeah, he's just saying that it'll probably be Project 6. It's kind of where I'm thinking. So it'll be either right before L1 or right after. That's where I think it's going to come into play. And that's going to be dependent on a few moving tech pieces in the background, right? They're just finishing touches on Catfish V3, which is a totally different app than the first 2 versions. And they are just finishing up LemPay. They are just finishing up Lemon Tree, and they are just finishing up the L1 blockchain as well. And they're all just finishing like all within weeks of each other. So it's going to depend on a few things. Right now, there's a sequential step. First, we have to get the NFTs out, the original NFTs, to start minting some token into existence. We need the token into existence to take any next steps. Then for us to launch the L1 blockchain, we must have validators. So validators are probably going to start on or around the 15th. There'll be kind of a pre-sale, probably like an early entry discount that can set you free. And we should talk about that.
And that's going to be around $5,000.
I mean, I don't know. Listen, if you guys know Jason at all, and I've gotten to know him quite well, but he really, like, more than he lets on, he loves the game of this stuff. Like he has a lot of fun surprises into playing and the gamifying things. And also, if Jason, he changes his clothing more than a woman does before a Friday night date, to go to the restaurant. But his mind changes all the time. Like I'll be talking to him on Wednesday, and like we're having like clear communication. And on Thursday, he'd be saying something totally different. I'm like, dude, fuck, we just talked about this yesterday. What do you mean? That's not what you said yesterday. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I thought about it. I had a couple conversations with these guys. I changed my mind. I forgot to tell you. Like, all right. Because one day he mentioned to me that validators would probably only have to stake a minimum of 500, and within 48 hours he was talking about 5,000. And I was all like, dude, like I heard you say it for sure. So
that's the stake or that's the cost?
it is.
And when they're talking about the cost, is that the cost of staking or how many lemon?
I don't know. He's not giving clear answers on it. And I was texting, Jake and I were texting back and forth earlier. Jake, when Colin and Derek and Jay were going crazy in the group, Jake was texting me and I didn't see it at first. He's like, would you just block those guys for a minute, all of them? Jake's like, block my brother. Just shut him up for a minute. Like they're margaritas are talking. I'm like, hey, Jake, when you got a chance to talk? But so you're going to have multiple components of the validators. One is they're going to give you an opportunity to buy the hardware and do it at home. I do not recommend that. Two, you're going to get to run it off of a cloud service. It is Joe's cloud service that's already going on. Joe called me last Sunday and he was like, hey, do you know the hardware specs for the cloud, for the validators? I'm like, yeah, of course. And I explained to him, he's like, cool, that's what I thought. I'm meeting with Jake this week. I knew you'd know the answer. So I gave him that. So going to get some kind of a cloud thing. It's going to be like a monthly subscription rental, renting out the capacity of the processors and the hardware and whatever. So, but then it's managed for you. Uptime is guaranteed. Internet connectivity is guaranteed. Backup power is guaranteed. And no software, no tech know-how, no nothing. That's the way to go. And then what you need is
I already thought about contacting you to host mine on your server.
I got to ask Joe how that's going to work, but yeah, we'll see. I probably work. He'll probably work out something like that. I don't know because I do have some hardware in his cloud, but what's going to happen then after that is you need to have a certain amount staked because, like all validators on the chain, if you don't have a dog in a pony in the race, right, then we can't trust that you're not going to try and sabotage the network, and you're getting network access because we are the blockchain. The validators are literally owning a piece of the blockchain. We have to make sure that we have aligned interests. So you need to stake a certain amount. And again, that was where he mentioned 500. Then he mentioned 5,000. But I don't know. Here's the good news. If you're feeling squeamish about that, you take 500, you get in on LemX as early as possible. And I'm very confident you'll have 5,000, probably when you wake up the next day in your account, and then you're still good to go. So, because I think we're going to have minimum 10x immediately on that. So
that's what I was planning on. At least, like that was the first goal I think I mentioned to these guys. Even I want my early LEM token to pay for my validator. I definitely want to be on the blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. You want to own a piece of the blockchain, and you want to get the early days appreciation to cover the costs for you in the perfect world. The problem is there's really tight supply, and there's a huge group of rabid buyers. But that also guarantees that we're going to get the outcome that we're all after. So, so if you're mining Lemcoin in the early days, so even if you can't catch it on the exchange, at least you'll be mining some of it, and the value of whatever you mined rockets up. You're still going to be sitting there with a win. And so, those are the kind of the components. You're going to stake a certain amount, but like no exaggeration. My brother was just over in Austria skiing with a guy we went to high school with. And he literally made $20 million just last year as a validator.
Wow.
He made about 10 million a few years prior to that, but now the project just keeps growing, and then the price rocketed up this year. And he logged in and let my brother go see. He's like, you can see all the numbers. Go ahead and log into my wallet. My brother's like, shit, you actually literally made 20 just this year. My brother's like, I want to be a validator. I was like, yeah, you do.
Right.
What chain's the validator on? Jesus.
Injective
The
protocol.
big one. What is it?
Injective protocol.
Oh,
Injective, it started out as a small project. It always was interesting to me when it first came out. I looked at it, I almost invested, and then I didn't. It's one of those kick me sign ones. It's now like a crypto.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. But that's cool. And the point here, something to drive home. I mean, yeah, I cashed out my debt so I can buy LEM, but the important thing is getting these NFTs as early as possible. I can't stress that enough. Like you get that's a repeated message here because they're going to mine the token they're going to mine. And that price is just going to keep going up. So it doesn't matter if the token itself is worth $10 or $10,000. You're still earning that amount of token as long as this goes. That's like forever money.
Right.
You're going to see wildly different price action on all things Lemon than you did over there. And, like I'm in lots of groups with Jay. including one just me, Jay, and Jake. But I was talking to them. Someone asked the other day in another one of the private groups, and someone said, "Hey guys, just for fun, like where do you think lemon will end up just this calendar year? You know, not long term, but just for the calendar year. So we get about 6 months of runway here." And he's like, "I just can't see it being less than 10K." And one other guy chimed in 20K, and then Jay chimed right below. You guys already know what my goal is. And they were like, no, we're talking about this calendar year, Jay. He said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So let's say it lists at $10. Let's say you put $1,000 in front of it, and let's say he misses his goal by 90% and we get to 10K by Christmas. You still got 100X on your money. Take $1,000, multiply it by 100. That's still a substantial amount of money. And we still didn't talk about getting the Lem Lottos, the Lem Pays, the Catfish. By the way, I think all the projects are going to do great. Lemflix will also do good. I'm not saying you shouldn't participate. I'm just saying if you're going to weight yourself a little heavier on something, that's where I think the juice is. And being a validator guarantees you. The earliest validators always make the most money by far. And then you are going to collect more money as a validator than you ever will as an NFT owner as well. So you're going to
get as those rewards come into the validators, the price on that's going to go up. So keep that in mind too. He mentioned that the other day.
I'll give you an example. You can go and ask, and I asked AI the other day. I asked AI, I said, what data exists to verify that the Binance, I was trying to see what the original Binance validators and see if they were actually billionaires. And it is rumored to believe that all the original Binance validators are billionaires. But they just said it's a little hard to verify. There's some missing records in the public accounting, but because of the amount of money that came in, it's likely very plausible that they are billionaires. So I don't want to talk about crazy numbers. We can't guarantee that'll happen with Lemon, but I can also tell you that one of Jason's partners told me that they want to be bigger than Binance as fast as humanly possible. So I like those odds.
Yeah, they are the biggest chain right now, right? So
yeah,
that over.
Huge, but
Kimberly, if you don't remember or didn't hear that part, like back even with debt, Jason has always said he's in a race. He wants our utility token to beat Bitcoin to $100,000.
Yeah.
So that's that missing number. Yeah, and everything we talked about, like when you were more involved and up to date, all the things that we talked about, adding to the wallet and all these different things, that's all being built like on the ground floor of everything as they're putting this together, which is amazing in the last 3-4 months.
Well, there's a lot of layers there, but let me give you the Coles Notes. The Coles Notes is that the app, the Lemon Tree, what's now being called Lemon Tree, has been done since March. But what's changed is that they've come up with new features and functionality that needed to be added to it in the recent weeks based on some decisions that have changed a little bit in the background. But it's done for all practical purposes. Lempay is like, he's like any moment. He's like, if I message you in an hour from now, it wouldn't surprise me, right? So he's like, Lempay is like a moment to moment deal. He's like, every day that I wake up and it's not there, I'm very surprised. I said, what's the ETA now? He's like, several days ago. So that's the only answer he gave me again today. He's like, still several days ago. Like they really owe it to me. And there's, it's like they must have did a little test and saw one little glitch or something. So I don't know. So that's an any day thing.
It's like the gate's holding a horse back. Jason's just raring to go, like kicking the gate, like ready to be released.
yeah, that's for sure. The validator situation is going to be sorted out quick. Like I talked to Joe personally, and he said, like, yeah, setting up is the cloud side of it to get the validators ready is going to be easy for them. Something they could do quick. So that's awesome. That's already in place and I'll be ready to go in the very, very near future. We might even hear about it this week. We'll see. And then the L1 blockchain, they kind of parallel path that, if you will. And I've already seen both paths. One was a test net on Polkadot. It's already been there for six months. But Polkadot and Tansy have been kind of dragging their heels, and they may be pivoting off into another direction, using some of the old tech and running on a different platform. And he asked me to look at it a few weeks back to have a close look where I thought it would scale the way we wanted to. And it's pretty awesome. So I think it'll work. It may even be better than what they were kind of originally eyeing up. It's certainly as good, if you will. And so they just got to get Lemon Tree ready for it. But we still need validators or we can't launch. We still need to have enough lemon token in the market. We still need to have, a bunch of these little steps that are almost there, but we're close. So,
is there a limit on how many validate? Like, if you're a validator, can you have multiple validators as one person, or no?
you can long term. I don't know how they're going to do it for us. Like, I suspect they're going to try and limit us to a degree so they can make sure. What we want is decentralization. What you don't want in the validator pool is just, it's 10 whales who come in and own up the whole thing. That doesn't work. And, the other thing that Jay told me is, like, in the early days, we're going to limit it because we want to make sure that the early validators get a lot of juice.
Right.
We want it to be so enticing. We want everyone just salivating to be the next round of validators as the chain's scaling. Like, in the early days, not enough gas fees to feed enough validators, right? But as the chain's growing, expanding out. But then it's also for security of the chain long term. You want a massive validator network. So,
right.
But they don't want it to be one dude who just bought 100 of them in different wallets.
Right. So here's my other question with that in mind. As a validator, do you need to personally do, like, get people to use your validation software, or whatever it is? It's all automatic. Everyone just okay. Because technically it's just really a space for the transactions to come in and out of.
You're recording. They're recording the transaction, verifying that. Like, if Terry and I were both, just as an example, with each out of validator, a transaction comes in, I validate it, then it would go to Terry, and he would validate that my numbers are ready. And most blockchains usually do that with about 8 validators. All 8 have to match it, and then it's recorded to the blockchain. So that's what it's doing with the software. You don't physically have to do anything.
Oh, okay. So you just work your day. You just work your day, your job, but it's working in the background. You don't have to touch it.
Owning an NFT that just is constantly earning you tokens. It's hands-free money. It's way better than being a landlord, Kimberly, in the real estate days. Fuck that. Don't have nobody calling me with clogged.
Are you a comedian full time?
No, but I no.
Validators don't have jobs.
That's true.
Guys, once you're validating for a little while, you ain't gonna have no job. I mean, if it all works out, there's lots of variables in there that have to play out. But if this chain explodes the way the guys are lining things up in the background, and we're validating, like, your validating is lucrative because we're going to get, in the early days, especially in the early days, they're going to pay us a really big APY on our staking. And all that's not going to be paid in USD. It's going to be paid to you in Lemon Coin. And so 3 years from now, you have no idea how high the Lemon Coin could be, right? The Lemon Coin could be $1 million a coin. And when your staking is done, you might have picked up another 300 Lemon Coins, for example. It's just, and then the gas fees on it, like
you're not going to be on a roof doing solar.
The gas fees on a busy chain are just ding, 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 ding.
Right.
They just keep coming in. They get insane. But not only that, when later on, when it becomes a little cost prohibitive, or at the time there isn't room for more validators because they're going to kind of expand that slowly, strategically. The returns, right? Let give you an example. Let's say a normal guy who is really wealthy, I got a couple guys local in mind that are extremely wealthy guys. If they just wanted to park $1 million, there's almost nowhere in traditional finance where they can go get, let's say, 15% a year. But they'll get that no problem as a delegated staker, right? But when they delegate on your validator to do that staking to make their 15%, they might park $1 million. Like, there are lots of people who want to go get those returns. They park a large sum because it's a very, very safe place to get a high return. But you make even way more than they do on their money as a validator. So my friend who validates on Injective, he's got millions of dollars of dedicated staking on his thing, and he's making a big return percentage on that. So let's say you use easy loose math. Let's say eventually you get $10 million delegated on your stake, but you're making 15% or 65% on it. You're making huge money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's the kind of numbers that are being cooked into the books, at least for the early validators right now. So they're going to set us up to win as long as everything goes really well. Like, there are variables. You have to understand that it's not guaranteed. It's almost baked in the cake, but it's not
Right.
guaranteed. We just got to position ourselves, and I think it's going to be like when I talked to Jay, even though he disappeared for a while, right? Then my first messages I got from him were fairly brief, and then he was talking about coming here to come here for vacation and hang out and stuff like that. He needed to, and then the next time I talked to him after that, he was all like, "You're not going to believe it. Everything I ever dreamed of was falling in line. I got this, and this is done, and this is done, and this guy's signing up, and this guy's signing up in 5 days. This is done in 5 weeks, and this is 10 weeks." He's like, "Everything I ever wanted, it's all just falling in." He said, "I can't believe it. And we got this brand and this exchange and this thing and this." I'm like, "Dude, is there anything you don't have?" He's like, "It's like all the dreams I ever had in Debtbox, like for all these years." He's like, "I got them all, like times 100 right now." I'm all like, "Well, that's all I needed to hear, man. Well, when are we going to
That's awesome.
when are we getting started?" And I'm like, let's go live tomorrow then." And he's all like, "Oh no, I'm not ready to go live yet." You can't tell me that kind of shit and go live. I'm ready to go, man.
Hold me
Right.
back.
Yeah.
Well, there's partners, big partners in this, and that leads to something like what I like about this is it's not tied to MLM. We don't have to like promote it to people and all, try to talk them into it, because judging from what I've seen and learned so far, especially on the Lemon side and what we're doing, this is going to grow faster in other countries than here. Some of these services may not be here. Lem Bank, I don't know if is that going to be available in the U.S. They have a few countries, but
country restrictions. We'll see.
I know there's Singapore and a few other ones, but not all these services are going to be available, and we don't have to sell it to anybody. Would it hurt to say, "Yo, check out this streaming service for $6.99"? It's a lot cheaper than Netflix, and that just helps because every subscription, that's another dollar that goes into the pool that we get rewards from, gets burned, and just all the little stuff. Like the hell with freaking PayPal. You don't need that. Use LemPay. You can even pay your bills directly with it.
All of them.
If you want to share it. Yeah,
it'd be everything finance. It's the best thing ever. Like I've been looking for something like this for years in crypto, because I've been trying to live 100% off crypto, and it takes some know-how, but all of a sudden that all just ceases to end. And the partners, I do know them, probably not even all of them, but I mean, I know a lot of them. They're not small. They're bigger than big. Like you're gonna be shocked, and a lot of them are household names. You're gonna be like, "There's no way these guys are partnered." Yep. So it's exciting what they got lined up, but again, some of these companies do have boards of directors and stuff, so we can't announce it and screw things up. But a little birdie told me they're aiming for on or around July 25th-ish, 24th-ish.
Tell Jason tomorrow's my birthday. We need some good news.
Yeah.
And Friday's my birthday, so we can do it then too.
I like it. Yeah. Well, Jay and I are definitely going live tomorrow, and I'm going to try and get with Jake, hopefully today or tomorrow as well. But so I think like late July is kind of, unless something changes, and things do change a lot. But I think kind of like late July, but that's still, we're only talking like 2 weeks away, right? Where you're going to see.
We're already getting projects going, so that's fine. It's going to take time to get all these out, and that's starting tomorrow.
But this one will be a PR announcement that will get everyone's attention,
and it'll come from them. That's what I like about it. We don't have to say, "Hey, guess what we're partnered with." No, for example, Coca-Cola would be saying, "Hey, we got blockchain, blah blah blah, tokenizing." Not that I know anything, but never know. That's a big household name around the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, just like we talked about before, when let me know when I need to get my ass back to Florida, because I'm coming down there when they come down.
major beverage distributor. It's going to be involved with the beverage product. You're gonna like that. Bev has got a very bright future lined up, so that's going to be exciting. And then the other partners, from Derek's estimation, and Derek's getting to sit in on a lot of meetings, not all of them, but he said it's like some of the biggest brands in the world, and they're fighting over who's going to take the credit for seeing the wisdom and partnering up with Lemon. And he thinks the tone of the PR is going to come kind of from that space, and there might be a joint PR amongst a whole bunch of like stupid, ridiculous brands. That's how he thinks it's going to play out right now. Like, obviously he's not in control of that, but if it does, like, hold on to your tokens.
And everything we've talked about before, like the UTMs, they're coming on Lemon, right?
Yeah,
And they're going to be more global, not just United States, like we originally were talking.
Yeah,
So,
the UTMs are ready to go.
Lots of good stuff.
Not only that, there's
Right.
a very, very big company with a lot of like subsidiary businesses, and now they're talking about tokenizing every one of their businesses on, you know what I mean? So some people are like, well, how does he go in to find this many individuals that already see the light? It's no, sometimes there's big conglomerates, right, that say, you know what, I like this. I might just go and put all my shit on here. So then all of a sudden that's, you know, brand after brand after brand after brand, it just lines up all these different
As
businesses.
long as it's not BlackRock, the Vanguard.
No, it's not, but it's someone with this, you know, in that same league of size, you know, that's just crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background from what I'm gathering, and we got some great exchanges, but I just think projects like Lem Lotto are just such high volume, low drag in the beginning, right? And as long as you've got the media partners, which they do have a couple of the biggest in the world, lining up to promote this, I mean, it could turn into something really, really huge, really quick, right? So you got these massive, massive royalties hitting the tokens in the early days, and we're just sitting there lining up. So that's awesome.
Right. Well, we're getting close, semi-close to an hour here. Kimberly, you got any questions? I don't want to keep Terry all day. 'Cause the couple times I stop down at his house, we go till wee hours in the morning. I end up staying overnight all the time.
Yeah, I don't know whether we need to keep Terry on and George on, but like what I was going to ask you, Joe, is like I have some debt coin, of a couple hundred debt coin, couple hundred BNB. What do I swap them to right now? Like today, what do I?
USDT
USDT is what you want for Lemex.
on
I have
Binance.
that set up.
On Binance? Okay,
Yeah,
and then what about my NFTs?
On the Binance chain.
Be
not
ready to
MetaMask or-
What?
Move every
Binance
NFT
Smart.
you have the option to. Every
One person at a time. One person.
yeah, there's a delay. Sorry.
So, what did you say first, Joe? Yeah, that's on
I
you.
said USDT on the Binance Smart Chain.
On Binance.
BSC.
And then what about the NFTs?
Swap them all.
To what?
You have Bev. You can't swap that one. I forget what the fourth one is. I know you have two aluminum. You're going to unstake them and swap them next week. Let them earn what little tokens they can earn for another week, and then you're going to unstake them next week. And either you can get a Lemflix with it, but the next week LemPay, you definitely want as many of them as you can get.
And is there a cap on the number of projects, NFTs you can have, or no?
As I currently
One per
understand
day.
it, none on swaps, but if you are minting new ones, then it's one per wallet per day per project.
Right, but unlike the debt side, where if you had a V-Box, you could only get up to 25 per project per wallet.
That's different here. They've done away with that.
But you can just acquire one per day per wallet.
Right.
So if you go a month, you can have 30 of them in each wallet, whatever.
If you don't mind, let's go back because I didn't hear everything you said because I was writing down. So for the NFTs, I can't swap the Bev, but the aluminums, I unstake them next week. I can't do that now.
You can, but they're still earning little tokens that eventually someday will be worth something. So why not get extra week out of it? You can't swap them this Thursday. This Thursday is only for debt to Lemon. NFTs. Next week, we'll start the L2s at a pace of 1 per week each Thursday.
Okay, so
So we
don't
get 5 out, and then
Yeah,
we're going to regroup and
next Thursday.
decide if then we'll have 5 out, and we'll decide at that time whether the L1's going to come next or they're going to do more projects before going over.
So I think we said I have like 2 or 3 other NFTs. I forget what they are. I think one's Bev, yeah, but we can't do that. But the other ones don't swap them either.
The one, write down the ones you can't. Bev, Rev,
Right.
which I don't believe you have,
I don't have Rev.
Rip,
Don't have that.
and Blocks. You might have that being a real estate girl.
I
think-
don't think I have that. I wanted to get it, but I couldn't.
We'll look at it, but yeah. If it's anything other than them, yes, you can unstake them next week.
Next week. So not this Thursday, but after this Thursday.
Yeah, you can unstake them next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday.
You keep collecting that coin until, and then you'll be ready to swap them on Thursday.
Yeah, my sincere hope is that we see the Lemon Tree app this week and they just finally give it to us, and then we just hit the swap button really easy. That's the goal. They're really close to it. The swap function already works. Right now it's just making sure that Lemon Tree is going to communicate with the new L1, and there's been a few changes and updates along those lines. So,
Well, what are we paying gas fees with if we're not doing it with BNB?
BNB for now, but it'll be Lemex in 6 weeks from now. Maybe even sooner.
Once we
But still
get
swap
our
my
own
BNB to
blockchain,
USDT? But still swap my BNB to
Yeah.
USDT right now?
yes, so you can get the Lemon token, the Lemex token, as
Whenever
early as possible.
But
Right.
That need to use Lemon for everything doesn't happen until we get on the L1, which will be probably August.
Okay. What
But
were you gonna say?
Then we won't need BNB anymore.
Okay, but keep how much, Terry?
well, you're going to need a little bit, right? You're going to need a little bit right now to make some transactions. So don't get rid of 100% of your BNB. Save
How much
some.
do you think we need?
Depends how many
How
transactions
many
you're doing.
transactions you want to do with that?
Yeah.
Figure 15, 20 cents a transaction. So you're already going to be swapping 3 of them, and you're going to be buying. So probably $5 in BNB to keep you good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, whenever LemX comes out, you've got to make 1 or 2 choices. And I don't know what the real answer is. It's tough. I'm trying to strategize with Jake about this. I guess I'm seeing it from different angles, but you want to get some combination of some LemX NFTs. You definitely want some, and you definitely want to buy some tokens in the early days. And again, the idea is that even if you only have a small amount of money left on the sidelines right now, if you buy enough LemX tokens early enough, they appreciate high enough, you can be a validator in the early days and it's covered. And if you can get to that place and then still swap some NFTs here and there, then you're in gold. You're golden. You probably again, it's not a guarantee, but I mean, you would probably just need to wait about 6 months, and then you're not going to have you can send in a resignation letter, a permanent one, and hopefully everything's in line with where we want to be by then. But it sounds like it's lining up like that. There's some big money waiting on the sidelines to get involved here. So we'll see if, things can change last minute, but if they do play out the way it's lining up.
Out of
Yeah.
the park.
Oh, yeah, I think
I
this
like
is the unicorn that we're looking at. This is the unicorn we've all been waiting for and looking for. The unicorn we thought we got a couple years ago, but there's a lot of reasons and backstory why it's different now. And I if we had lots of time, or if you were down here, I would, get into it and explain it to you. But we're not just guessing. I'm not just like, oh, I'm hyped about the new thing and the new shiny object. There's a lot going on in the background that so.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, it's everything we've talked about for 2 years. It's all like right here in the whole package, plus huge partners. I mean, we know how fast Jason moves, and this is the first time, like in his life, that these new partners, these huge partners, are making him feel like he's sitting still. If Jason's going 100 miles an hour, they're going like 2,000 miles an hour.
Well, what happens is, like, when you partner with some really, really high level people, it's their Rolodex is just crazy, right? And so imagine, George, you own a company and I call you up and I say, hey, listen, me and DeSantis and, this big brand and this big company and this big company, we're all partnering on this blockchain. You really should take a look. You need to get in on this and let me get you in on a call. Like the FOMO kicks in right away. Like, you guys are all jumping on this. It's kind of that game. And so like, you have what, and who else said yes? Okay, I need to get in on it. It's almost like a sight unseen thing. Everyone's like, all right, I got to get in on this. What do you got? And then they connect a few quick conversations and they're like, count us in, we'll learn the rest as we go. But it's that Rolodex level of high level stuff that's, who wants to say no at that point? You know what I mean? You're like, you said who was doing it,
Right.
You don't want to be like Gary Vaynerchuk, who said no to Uber the first 2 rounds. Like,
oh,
damn it.
Oh. Do you guys know Chris Sacca's story? Chris Sacca has a really incredible story. He was a lawyer. It's just a story that illustrates how fast your whole life can turn around just when you think it can't, Chris Sacca was a lawyer at one point in time, and he wasn't practicing law. And he invested a bunch of money and he got lucky, but he thought he was smarter than he was at the time. So then a lot of friends and family gave him a whole lot of money. And then he really took some bad moves and lost everyone the money. In his mind, he was negative several million in net worth. And then he started working for Google in the very early days as a lawyer. And then Google started sending him out to do like mergers and acquisition stuff. And so he was meeting with all of these like startups in Silicon Valley area. And he's like, and he was trying to figure out like, how do I turn this around? Like, they don't pay me enough in salary for me to get out of the hole for the millions I'm in right now. And he started like meeting with all these startup guys. And he's like, you know what? I don't need the greatest idea. I just need to grab onto someone's goddamn coattails. Mm-hmm. He said, so we scraped and scrounged all the money that we couldn't afford. He said, we got a good place for entertaining in Lake Tahoe. He said, and then we spent all of our time, even though we're not that social, my wife and I, just hosting parties and hosting dinner parties and gatherings. And I was inviting all these people I was meeting along the way in the journey with Google. He said, one day I was in a guy's basement and this guy was saying, and he said with so much certainty in his voice, and he's all like, and when we beat Facebook and on this metric and this metric and this metric, then we'll do this. And he was all like, he said it struck him. The guy needed money. He said, but the guy said it was so much certainty, and he was showing me. He's like, this guy is like one dude in his basement, and he's beating Facebook at certain metrics, not everything. And he's like, this guy needs money. He's like, I was broker than broke. I was in work boots, and he's like, I was so underdressed. He said, but I just went knocking door to door looking for money, and I tried to create a pooled fund so we could fund this dude in his basement. I just in my mind I had to do it. He said, and I knocked on a bunch of doors, and finally I got through to a few wealthy people who then picked up the phone, called all their wealthy friends, and they finally got together a large amount of money that would work, right? So then they funded the original Instagram guy, and then with that money, then they went and basically took over Twitter, and then all of a sudden they had their own venture capital fund, and then he got in. He missed a few of the. He did get in an Uber, but he skipped out Airbnb, and he skipped out one or two other like massive ones, but he nailed 4 or 5 massive ones that he got in all at the right time. But he used all other people's money, and he went from in like a few years to wealthier than Mark Cuban from a negative net worth.
Wow.
But it was a few calls to a few people with a Rolodex who actually started opening those bigger doors for him, that all of a sudden that changed everything, and he got massive leverage. And then, so he went from like minus 2 million to something like 8 billion personal net worth in like 4 years or something crazy like that. Yep, that was from before even meeting the guys, right? But they had such big brands. They had such explosive rocket fuel. He got in on the right thing, and he found enough people with the right Rolodex who would fund the dream that, he had a good plan. As long as you have a good plan, the money tends to show up, right? And so that's what we're seeing with Lemon right now. And you and I can go get some good lemon seeds, and hopefully take the ride and set ourselves free. And that's my wish for everyone. So,
yeah, definitely.
All right, well, that's cool. I appreciate you coming on, Terry. If you don't mind, I want to take maybe 1 to 5 minutes after you turn the recording off and ask you like a legal question, and then we'll
do it now.
Get the hell out of here.
Well, hold on.
Sure.
I have a question now. I want to be a little devil's advocate here.
Sure.
So you know, in the beginning with Detcoin and all that, we were all hyped up about it, and this was like the unicorn then, and blah blah blah. So what makes this different? I mean, Detcoin's down at $4, you know, whatever, and it's just taking a dive. And they said, oh, it's going to come back, and yet it keeps diving. So why is this different?
How freely do you want me to speak?
Really?
Okay, I made that.
We're recording, but everything takes a path. I mean, I still have faith in those commodity projects that they will come around with the technology and all. But go ahead, Terry.